He just said, I need to bring someone in I know can play the game. If you want to stay and you want me to teach you and help you, then we can do that. But it will be away from training and it will take time. Basically, I think it's a good idea that you leave because you're not going to play for me and I'm going to bring someone in who can.
Today we are welcoming Joe Hart with an H. Yeah, because the French, we've got difficulties with the H.
So would I be Art?
Art.
Yeah.
Art.
No, in Italy I was John Art.
John Hart.
Yeah, I was like, my name's Joe.
Keep it simple. Manchester City legend and England legend. This is my intro. That's a lot of legends. That's already two. One for Man City, one for England. In a few words, can you introduce yourself to the audience?
Hi guys, my name's Joe. I'm a former goalkeeper and I'm someone who's starting a new part of my life and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I love that. You know why? Because my next question was not how is retirement, like a lot of people say, because you're not retiring from anything. I would like to say, how's your second life starting?
Excited to be a novice again. I'm learning. I'm really interested about the industry and just trying to see where I fit.
Okay. So, Ryan, this is your day-to-day, more or less. Cool. So there is no way we can lure you into back into football playing in Australia if we have a good team in that league?
No, I feel really comfortable that I've done everything that I wanted to do in football. From a family point of view, I think it's time to just be settled, be somewhere where I can be constantly, and I'm just really happy. And I saw a great opportunity in how I finished. What a special way to finish a career that I've really enjoyed.
We will talk about it in 6 months' time.
Yeah, there we go. Maybe.
No, but I kind of understand where you are because I retired the same age. So we are 10 years apart. So I retired at 37, and for me it was my body.
Yeah.
Not so much mentally. I think I could have carried on, but my body was like, could play a game, and then it took me a good week to recover. So I was like, if I can't train, I can't play.
Yeah.
So it wasn't adding up,
Yeah, body-wise, I feel good. I think I've always been in my career able to train really, really hard and then play. And then I was getting to the point where I was thinking, I'm not as comfortable training hard through the week. I always felt good when it came to the game, but I was aware that there's going to be the next part of that was I wasn't necessarily going to feel great during games. And like I say, just with how my career and the contract worked and finishing up in Scotland, it just felt like it was a good opportunity to finish happy. There was, like I said, there was nothing really more out there for me. I didn't really want to travel the world and play. I'm quite comfortable now traveling the world and enjoying it from a hotel.
Which club in Scotland?
Celtic. Glasgow Celtic, yeah.
I know. I know, of course, there's 2 clubs there, so you can't make any mistake, right?
No.
You won't be welcome on the other side of the city.
No, not at all.
All right. I would like to go back to the early stage of your life growing up, your experience, your upbringing. What journey took you to football?
Quite a calm life. I'm from a small town in England, which is on the border of Wales. Not many people would know it unless you live there or were a part of it, but we had a local team, Shrewsbury Town, which was my club, kind of League 2 conference. But it was our everything, and they had a centre of excellence, so it was before academies. It was like 2-3 times a week, and anybody who could play football would be brought into that kind of line of thinking. But I played football, cricket, tennis. I didn't really care. I just liked playing. My family isn't any professional sportsmen in the family, so we were just quite a relaxed, normal family. I was always playing. Yeah, nothing really exciting to report. If I'm honest, it was just enjoyment of the game, and then gradual progression. Once I turned 14, I started to get involved with Shrewsbury Town, and I was put forward quite quickly because they didn't have many goalkeepers.
Yeah, this is what I wanted to ask you. So you preferred sports to school?
Yeah.
Or, yeah?
Yeah.
Any sports, not only football.
Yeah, any sports, but cricket and football in England, the summer sport was cricket for me, and the winter sport was football. But my father was always very keen on me to just, I look at it now and I realize that he was just trying to keep me grounded and focused. But he knew that I loved sport. He knew that I loved it. And he used that to keep me humble and organized when it comes to trying things academically, which I didn't necessarily enjoy or want to do. But he knew that in life, you have to do things that you don't want to do, right? You have to focus on things that you don't want to do. I realize that now. At the time, I just felt like he was just trying to keep control of me, because he said, as long as I focused in school and made effort, yeah. Obviously, you know, now as a parent, you have to take people to sport, and he had a job himself, and it's difficult. So he just wanted to see that I was willing to put the effort in things that I didn't want to do, for the outcome to be that he'd take me to the football games, the tennis games, the cricket games, and it worked well.
Yeah, I think cricket, obviously French people, we don't know anything.
Yeah,
about
many people don't.
About the sport. I guess batting, coordination with the ball helped. And it's recognized that playing different sports at a young age helps for the development, you know, and it's good not just to focus on football.
Yeah, I think so. I think, you know, all different aspects. When I was growing up, I'm left-handed, I'm right-footed, two-handed, I do things right-handed, some things I do left-handed, and this was all kind of natural and just gave me a nice balance. And there's not many places that I felt uncomfortable, because I was always just thinking, how can I play, how can I interact, how can I make friends? And naturally as a kid, it just kind of opened my mind to the ways of thinking and learning and understanding things. And I think it's helped me in the, like you alluded to there, I think it helps you in the long term for kind of anything in terms of a personality and a profession.
Are you also one of those that is hooked onto paddle?
Not yet.
Not yet.
So, but I think it's a game that I've played briefly. At the moment, I was aware with last couple of years of my career, it's a very low sport,
right?
You know, and that kind of position I didn't want to be in unless I was in goal. But now I don't have to worry about injuries or niggles, so I think I'm going to explore it.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah, I'm just starting, so not very good, but I will take some lessons so we can have a game.
Nice one. I'll be ready. I'll be ready.
But you got the height. It's an advantage, I guess. And then, yes, so you go to Shrewsbury, your one and only club to begin with, and you start very early. Is it because you're tall?
Yeah.
Tallest in the class?
Tall. I was committed. I had a very good relationship. So at Shrewsbury, we had the guy who coached the under-8s. He coached the first team. So he took everybody.
Right.
So he knew everybody, and he had quite a lot of control when it came to the goalkeepers. What's this, like year 2000, 2001?
Yeah.
Nobody cared about goalkeepers, especially at that level. You know, League Two, you had your first team goalkeeper, you had your reserve goalkeeper, and then you just had a lot of other people.
What do you mean? There was no...
No, there was no... It was like, just put somebody in goal of a level.
Oh, right.
So, like I say, they had their number one. The number two was... He had a few problems off the field, so they couldn't necessarily rely on him. And then the coach, Kevin Ratcliffe, who played a lot for Everton, Timo was the guy's name, was the goalkeeper coach.
Okay.
And he was like, just bring me a goalkeeper. And he always really believed in me from young. And he was like, I've got this kid, he's 14, 15, but I believe he can train with the first team.
Wow.
So he just put me in. And my personality then was like, I didn't really think about things. I still don't. But I just mean, if somebody was willing to put me there, I was comfortable. And I just tried to push and make myself available. So yes, I was involved very early, but it wasn't because I was an extreme talent. If I was at a bigger club with more resources, I would have probably gone down the usual system. But just because I was Joe, I was from Shrewsbury, and there was potential resale in me as well. Obviously, you've got to think like that as a club that's not very wealthy, and they put me in, and every time, I don't think I shone, but I certainly didn't stand out as somebody who couldn't be there. So they just let me develop.
Super young, because like you said, most of the rest of us, we go to normal path, which is academy. You play with the under 16, and then the under 18s, and then the 21s before you go into the first team. But you straight away at 14, 15, 14, you're training with the first team.
Yeah.
15, you're playing.
Yeah.
Wow. Amazing.
So I was playing under 18s, reserve team, training with the first team, going to school. So, but it didn't matter, just as long as I was available. Sometimes I'd play for the youth team in the morning, not even get changed, and then they'd drive me to the first team match where I'd just put my first team kit on and be on the bench for the first team. Like, there's no real rules then, and I didn't care. I was always happy to do whatever they needed me to do. So financially, it made a lot of sense, and for me personally, it was obviously an absolute buzz.
And so the games were like Saturday?
Yeah.
Saturdays?
Saturday, Tuesday.
So Sunday, you're like...
Yeah, Sunday. No, I probably would have gone and played football for someone else on Sunday. I just didn't think. I just went and played. I didn't care.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So what are the... Because, you know, the other path, the usual path, it's always, you know, it is.
Yeah.
Looking back, you played in that division, lower division.
Yeah.
What are the positives and the negatives in your eyes?
So the benefits are definitely that you learn how important football is as a job. You learn that it's a profession. Like I say, I was young and I just wanted to play. And then I learned, I didn't realize I didn't have any professional background. So I didn't understand that it was really important that you got paid. I didn't understand that if you won, it was important that you got, you know, your win bonus. You needed to be in the squad for that to be important. The team needed to stay in the division. People needed contracts. And I was in and around people who, they weren't just playing for fun. They were playing for their livelihood. They were playing for their families. You know, because the money's not, it's not life-changing down there. It's a regular job. And it was really, really great to be around, because I realized that as much as people were going to be nice to me, if they didn't think I could help the team, I'd be gone. And I watched many people who came, and I watched them trying to improve their free kicks and trying to improve their Cruyff turns. And at that level, they don't care if you can do a good free kick or a Cruyff turn. They care if you can fight, if you can compete, if they can rely on you in a really tough game. So in terms of learning to grow up very quickly, I think that's obviously something that is invaluable at that level. Negatives, I didn't really see any. Obviously, we didn't have the hype and the glamour, and you didn't learn how to be on TV or be recognized. Like I say, I didn't care. I wasn't from anywhere where that was what I wanted. I just enjoyed being part of what I was a part of.
Yeah, because at that time, at 14, 15, a lot of kids are still dreaming about it. But you're living the life, and like you said, it means a lot, because it's an income and it's a livelihood for a lot of the guys in the dressing room. So it's a complete different approach. But you still get the buzz and the enjoyment, and I'm almost like, is it still a dream?
That's the thing with me. I've never really dreamed. I've always just loved what I was doing. Loved being part of. I never dreamed of being a Premier League player or playing for England. Not that, obviously, if somebody asked me if I wanted to, I'd say yes.
Yeah.
But I didn't dream of it. I just loved all the opportunities that I was involved in at the time. I just liked improving, meeting new people. I was lucky in terms of my development. I just kept getting better. So there was always a new ceiling for me. I didn't look at the highest top board, but there was always a ceiling. I think, I wonder if I can improve. I wonder if I can feel more comfortable in this, and I'd get there, and then more and more. And then I just kind of felt like, if I continue in this way, then you never know what's going to happen. But in terms of dreaming, I never really dreamed. I just loved doing what I was doing.
So is it fair to say that the level of coaching you received at that time wasn't the best they could be, but the fact that you played made you become a top goalkeeper after, for the top level?
I don't know. I had nothing to compare it to. So like I said, I hadn't dropped down from, say I was at Manchester City from 14 and I went on loan to Shrewsbury. Maybe I would have felt differently about the environment. Maybe I would have felt differently about the coaching. But because I was coming up and everything was the next stage, I couldn't believe, that the details, being involved in set pieces. My goalkeeper coach, Timo, I talked about, he saw a lot in me and he put a lot of effort into me and worked me hard. And yeah, I don't know if it was the highest level that I could have received, but it felt a high level to me, and it felt to then progress to go to Manchester City to learn that there is another level. There's a new detail, and then it kept growing and I kept learning.
So at what age you signed for Manchester City?
19.
19.
Yeah.
Still young.
Yeah, I was young. I was a baby.
Still young. But already 4 years.
Yeah.
In a professional environment.
Yeah.
So then you sign, and then straight away you are sent on loan.
So that was the plan, but injuries happened, and then first game of the season, I was on the bench in the Premier League against Chelsea, recent champions.
How was that?
You know, that game, that dugout, you're slightly lower. I'm seeing Drogba, I'm seeing Terry, Lampard, Mourinho's next to me. I'm just like, I couldn't believe it. I was just, but again, I was just happy to be there, involved in the situation, aware that like I might have to go on and play in this game. I went to Manchester City with no expectations. I had good communication. They said, look, as it stands, you'll be number 3, number 4. You'll train, and we'll try and get you a better level than Shrewsbury to develop you. But circumstances always change in football, right? And for the first 6 months, I was on the bench every single game. I actually managed to play when I was 19. The goalkeeper got injured for one game. I played one game. I came in, clean sheet, but I was terrible. But luckily, it says 0-0 on the. It says 0-0 in the history books, but it wasn't a good game personally. But then I came out, and then the goalkeeper who they'd signed, who'd been injured, became available, and then I naturally progressed, moved down, and went on loan. Tranmere and Blackpool were some important loans for me.
Yeah, important. Yeah, tell me about those loans, because you come from an environment, lower league, you go to a city, and then you have to go down again to, was it?
Tranmere, League One. So League One was above where I'd been previously, but it was again different. It was those loans where it was like 1 month. It was a call the day before the game. Joe, Tranmere need a goalkeeper. Can you go on loan? Yeah, no problem. So I turned up day of the game, shook hands with everybody, introduced myself as Joe Hart. I'm going to be in goal today, and they're all, the guys are like, oh, didn't realize that the goalkeeper was injured, but welcome to the game. Play, but both clubs, Tranmere and Blackpool, they were really understanding, and Manchester City were really strong in my development. They said we'd like him to train with Manchester City because they were quite close, 30 minutes away. When he can he train with Manchester City, and then day before games he'll train with you and then play the games. So that was really good and good understanding, and I was helping them, they were helping me, and everybody was winning.
It's only in England that you can do this stuff, like go on loan for 1 month. It's amazing.
Well, yeah, I don't know if it happens anymore, but again, the Blackpool, I got a phone call the night before, and I said, yeah, I'll come. And I met on the motorway, the highway services.
Yeah.
I had a Manchester City tracksuit on, shaking hands with people. Hi, I didn't know who they were. They didn't know who I was. I'm Joe Hart. I'm going to be in goal today. They're like, what? Really? Because they did. And then I played. It was
easy.
Yeah, but it was fun. It was exciting, and a lot of my decisions in life have been, yeah, you know what, I'm going to do it. It's just been, why not?
Yeah.
So yeah,
I did pretty much the same when I signed for Man United.
Yeah.
I had one training session with the guys, and next day I was playing.
Really? It's mad, right?
It's mad. Absolutely mad.
I like it though.
Yeah, it's good. Good. I mean, when it goes your way, it's good.
Yeah. No, of course. Yeah, it can be difficult. I get that.
And just to go back on that history, we could have been teammates.
Yeah.
2008.
Were you going to come?
Yeah.
Were you?
Yes.
Why didn't you?
Oh my God! No, it's a funny story. I was doing the medical.
Right.
Halfway through, I received a phone call from Arsene Wenger.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
So I had to call Mark Hughes a second time and say, look, got an option to go. He said, in your shoes, I would do the same. So
yeah, I remember. So the new Sheikhs had just taken over then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a big transfer window.
That was a big one.
Yeah. I remember that now.
In the middle of the medical, I left to London. So since then, they do the medical in only one part.
Yeah, and they lock you in. They lock you in. They turn your phone off. Yeah, I get that. And
this is it now.
Always learning, right?
This is that episode. So funny. So yeah, we didn't share the dressing room, but I think we played against each other.
Yeah, many times. Many times.
We did.
Yeah, some good battles.
Some good battles. So you are the clean sheet record holder for Man City.
Yeah.
Or for the Premier League. You have so many records at that level.
I kept a few. I think Edison will be close now if he hasn't overtaken. But for that club, I played at all different stages of their development now as the club that we see, and it was a great place to play. Lots of what it's like when you play in goal and you see in a defence you see the records, but there's so much more to it, right? There's relationships. You have to fight out there as a team. Modern day strong teams. quite clean, good playing, good possession. But even the top teams, then Manchester United, Arsenal, you still had to work hard to fight.
Yeah.
Long balls coming in, and I loved it. I absolutely loved being part of that team.
Best teammate? Or you can name a few if you want. But...
Defensively,
the best defender.
So I loved Richard Dunn when I first came to the team.
Yeah.
He was incredible for Manchester City pre-takeover, Player of the Year 4 years in a row, and just a real strong, dominant athlete. You know, Company, Lescott, Michael Richards, Clichy, your friends, Zabaleta. We had an incredible back line. We really did. You know, Kolarov, Bakary Sagna, some really cool guys playing, and someone that we shared, you know, really good relationships with off the field, and we were growing up together as well, which was great, and, you know, shared our families developing and things like that. It was a special part of my life.
Richard Dunn, how many own goals he scored?
He scored. He scored past me from 18 yards at St James's Park. Unbelievable header. And I was relaxed, and he jumped, and it hit the side of his head, a decent sized head, and flew into the top corner. And I had to clap him. Yeah, it was a good goal, that. It was incredible.
Oh my God. Best manager?
Best manager? I've had a lot. I really, really enjoyed my recent times under Brendan Rodgers and Ange Postecoglou at Celtic.
No, at City. We're still at
at City. Best manager? Good question.
The football that you enjoy the most watching from distance.
Right, okay. I think under the Mancini era, we broke down a lot of doors. We won some really, really big games. Coaching-wise, he was very, very intense. Super intense, even to the point of it kind of crumbled. But that's life, you know? I think at that high level, you see many, many managers, they don't last longer than 2-3 years, even when they do well, because it's just too much.
Very intense.
You know, obviously the stories of Sir Alex Ferguson and people like that.
The water.
Yeah, I got one. Yeah, the Sir Alex Ferguson stories are a thing of the past almost now. I think even successful managers is 3-4 years. That's super successful. Yeah, I did enjoy the intensity that we played at. I enjoyed what he demanded. A lot of it was unrealistic. If we look at it, even when we did well, he wanted more. But I think for us to go to the level and set new standards, I give him credit for that.
So you were talking about Richard Dunn, Company, Kolarov, Bakary Sagna, all the defenders. Joe Lescott was very good as well. So your clean sheet really is due to the best defenders you had in front of.
Yeah, of course, man. No doubt about it. There's some games where I had to be at a different level, but many of the games would have been a well organized, good, solid team victory where you just play your small part in a bigger role.
And the best striker you had to in your team that you had to face every day in training?
Kun Aguero was
special about him.
Because I talk about him, and playing with people like Harry Kane and Kun Aguero, they were capable of doing the things as a goalkeeper. I think maybe you as a defender, there's only so much you can do, right? When I was in my best point as a goalkeeper, I made it really difficult for people to beat me, but not impossible. And the little bits that I had to give up in my positioning or the sides of the goals or where I was, the little bits that I had to say, okay, if you beat me there, then I kind of have to accept it. That's where they'd beat me. I look at the slightly lesser player, still top quality. You'd still have a chance of saving them because they were going to do what they felt was right for them, rather than Aguero would see where you were and how you were behaving, and then he'd do the opposite.
Is it within the execution? Is it the angle they find, the spot the
everything, the execution, the pace, the understanding of when to shoot and when not to shoot, never being rushed. Yeah, there's a long list for those top guys, as I'm sure you well know.
Amazing strikers. I had to face in training, so
yeah,
I had good training.
Yeah.
So when did you feel in that period, 2010, 2016? When did you feel the strongest?
I think from 10 till 13, I still felt like I was progressing, and I felt like I was at a level. At that point, there were levels where I thought, I don't think I can get better, and I got better. So probably towards 2012, 13, I was at a level where I felt really comfortable in any situation, and I felt like I could win.
How many titles did you win in that period?
We won 2 Premier Leagues, 1 FA Cup, and 2 League Cups, whatever you call them.
So your contribution to those titles were vital.
Yeah, I was an important part of that team, and I loved that. You know, I was growing as a person and as a personality and a presence in amongst my team. Yeah, it was a really enjoyable part of my career.
Can you highlight one top game during that period?
For myself personally, I had one game where I'd been on loan before, when Mark Hughes was there. When he came in, he was trying to bring you in. He actually took me out. So he came in, he signed for the club, and he signed Shay Given because I was 22 and the club had the money to make brilliant signings, as you were part of that conversation. People who knew how to win, people who were at the top of their game, and they didn't necessarily know how I was going to develop, so they just moved me aside. But then Mancini came in during that season whilst I was on loan, doing well at Birmingham, and he asked me to come back in pre-season. I was young. I was like, no chance. You don't want me, I'm going to go. He said, please, I promise you, just come and work with me, and we'll see how, because he still wasn't sure if he wanted to play me or Shay. He ended up playing me first game of the season, and we played Tottenham, and we drew 0-0, and I couldn't have written the game any better. It was one of the best games I've played in. It was almost quite, I look at it and I laugh. Like, everything hit me, so many saves, and that set me up to develop and push on from there.
Every good story has an end, and most of the time it's not a good end.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, yeah.
It's life. When you are told that you should look for another opportunity, to put it nicely, it's obviously Pep, okay, we're talking about, and I'm not going to talk about him. What I want to know is, how did you deal with not being rated, not feeling loved? You know, your emotion and your response.
He came to the club, and I just got the feeling before he came, because it was announced 2 months, 3 months before the end of the season, and I was important at Manchester. You know, I had a great relationship with the team, with the players, with the fans. It was my home, and if you thought of Manchester City, I was one of the people you thought about. Yeah. But I was also aware that he had this way of playing, and it was really working around Europe. You know, very successful at Barcelona, domestically very successful at Bayern Munich. Manuel Neuer was talked about a lot. Can I do what he can do from a build-up perspective? I'd never been asked to do that. Never. You know, I don't know about you, but teams that you played in, you didn't know what you were capable of until you were taught it. You know, we're always ready to learn. But he came to the club, and I just thought, I knew that he knew that I hadn't proven I could do it. Yeah. But I didn't know if he was going to give me a chance to develop, or if he was just going to get somebody else in, because I know what the capabilities of the club are. Yeah. And then when he came in, he made it clear that, you know, we had a conversation. I've got nothing bad to say about the guy. He had an opinion that he couldn't start his career at Manchester City with somebody that he needed to teach. He wanted to start his career with somebody he knew how they could play the game of build-up, which I asked, are you sure that I can't fit in? And he was never rude, never disrespectful. He just said, I need to bring someone in I know can play the game. If you want to stay and you want me to teach you and help you, then we can do that. But it'll be away from training and it will take time. Basically, I think it's a good idea that you leave, because you're not going to play for me, and I'm going to bring someone in who can, which was difficult, but I didn't mind it, because the world doesn't revolve around me. Like, football doesn't revolve around me. Pep Guardiola wasn't coming in to ruin my life and ruin my career. He was coming in to be successful. In his eyes, he had so much power, rightfully so, at that club. They'd done everything to bring him in. So what he said went, even though I had great connections with the owners, I had great connections with the people who made the decisions at the club. You know, they almost looked at me and said, you know that we love you, but at this point, there's nothing we can do. And it was obviously difficult, but I understood it from a business point of view. And I just looked to find the best opportunity to leave and keep progressing.
What's your thought process when this is happening? He's telling you, like we are talking right now, he's telling you this is not going to happen for you unless you step aside and we train you. And how do you deal with that in the moment and the days after? Because to get that, to express what you just said, can't be in a split second, can it?
No, it wasn't. But I was lucky when I was probably 2 years previously 2.5 years previously, I talked about my trajectory being like this.
Okay.
And there was nothing I couldn't do, nothing. And I was making bad decisions. I was coming for the ball when I shouldn't. I was not coming when I should. Having a terrible connection with my defense, which I loved. It was making me think, I've never thought like this before. So I got in contact with a sports psychologist, sports coach, mental coach. Developed a relationship that I'm still, is one of my best friends now. Learned more about me as a human, as a person, rather than learning about me as a player. I don't know if you've ever worked in that. The player's just a player, right? Football's football.
Yeah.
Developing as a person, I realized then that I was quite focused on just thinking I could just keep going. And anyway, so I learned a lot about myself with relationships, learning different people's cultures, learning how to work with people from different countries. So I had all the capabilities of having a grown-up conversation when it came to Pep Guardiola and a person who didn't think I was brilliant. Pretty much everyone was telling me how brilliant I was, but I understood that not everybody thinks like that. I obviously need to now manage my friends, my family, my wife, because they're going to start being worried for me. I need to start managing the outside noise, because it was quite an important thing in the UK that the English goalkeeper, the number one, the guy who was done. So yeah, I was lucky. I had a point of reference, somebody that I could talk to, someone I could be completely honest with. I'm not always this rational. Sometimes I was sad, sometimes I was angry, sometimes I was upset. But I think you find with the conversation and the right questions, you can always look for the solutions, and understanding that the person opposite you doesn't necessarily want to ruin your life. They're just doing what's best for them.
The takeaway on my side is that having someone that you talk to, professional, helped you a lot.
Yeah, really.
That period.
Helped all of us. It's not just me, It's you got to manage your families, their emotions.
The
mother, father, wife, friends, because they want to kill for you.
They want to protect you, and anybody who's against you is against them.
Yeah,
they become the enemy.
Yeah, which is a great feeling. There's nothing better than having a team, but as the captain of the team, you need to manage everybody and keep everybody focused on what's important. And what's important is not going to fight this guy. I'll fight with anyone. If I think it's a fair fight, and if I win, if I lose, it's no problem. But sometimes I'm not necessarily talking about physically fighting the man, but
I understand.
What I was trying to do, I was never going to win. It was never going to change, and I needed to be playing. I wanted to play for England. I wanted to represent my country, and for that, I needed to be playing first team football.
Yeah, I had someone to work with me as well when I was playing for Man United.
Yep.
I was lacking consistency and concentration, so every time the gaffer was saying me, "You need to concentrate. You need to play chess." I'm like, concentrate. What does it mean, concentration? I don't understand.
Yeah.
It's not because you start looking ahead of you and the concentration is going.
It was not because you were thinking about anything else. No, it's just switching on the right time.
Exactly. There's a process behind.
And did you find it?
Everybody's different. Yeah.
Good.
I knew that every time if I was going to do A, B, C, I would have a 7 out of 10 in the game. Not one time a 9 and one time a 5.
Well, if you're constantly 7, you allow room for your talent to take you some games to 8, 9.
Yeah.
But then you always stay at 7 because you do the basics, you do what's right. I love that. I love that thought process, that kind of clarity.
And it's so you use someone, I use someone, but I've known players that were against, but they didn't need it. It was in their nature. I mean, Lilian Thuram, for example, 140 caps for France. What? Sport psychologist. What is this? Are you sick in your head?
Yeah.
No. It's different.
But everyone's different, right? And maybe it wouldn't have worked for him.
Yeah.
Maybe it would. Do you know what? I loved it from a professional point of view. It could help me improve as a footballer, but more importantly, I loved it because it's how it allowed me to kind of grow and see things differently. And there's not many situations where I haven't got a tool, as he called it, to kind of handle it, even good, bad, or indifferent.
Since we are in that space of mental preparation, mental health, and dealing with the events in football and life, when I was preparing our chat, I was like, goalkeepers, they're either hero or zero. There is, like, for the fans, for the media, there is no middle ground.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
I live like a goalkeeper. That's my life.
But you make one mistake at a crucial moment.
But
This is it.
I signed the papers. when I was a kid, when I was maybe 10 years old.
Yeah.
Goalkeeper. So that's my life. I don't know any different. I don't know a life where making a mistake isn't big consequences. So I'm okay with it. You know, it's difficult in the moment, but like I say, it's who I am. It's how I breathe. It's how I work. It's how I think about things. So I get to a lot of people who don't understand because they're not goalkeepers, and they think that you being a hero or a villain, what in the same, 1 week to the next
Second, yeah.
is big news. But to me, it's just, it's life.
It's so different from us players because we can have we have you behind us.
Yep.
The goalkeeper can say one of our mistakes. You have nobody. You're alone. You train alone most of the time, and you're alone in goal. After that, well, we help each other, but it's
No, of course.
it's kind of it's completely different from the players.
It's different, to you, but to me, it's just, it's normal. It's the consequences, and it's the life that I live.
So you were able to brush away all the critics. The successes, it's easy. You embrace it. You enjoy it. It's more difficult to deal with the upset performance that you're like, oh, today was very poor. How did you manage that?
So I had good relationships with my goalkeeper coach. I think that was important. The head coach, you need a relationship with him. You need to understand how he feels for you, because it's not just one going through your hands. It's conversations are about where you should be on corners or how the team wants to develop with the play, close with my teammates, and then my friends and family. These were the opinions, the 5 opinions that I really cared, and would be people that I'd talk to and listen to what they had to say. And then everybody else, I don't care.
You don't care.
They can say what they want, good, bad. You're entitled to your opinion, but you don't matter. Like you don't change what's going on in my professional life. Like these people, if for instance, if I was playing with you and I got the impression that you didn't feel comfortable with me, that would hurt me so much more than 10 headlines saying Joe Hart's terrible. Like he needs to leave. I don't care about any of those things, but if one of my defenders, I can feel that things aren't right, that would mean more to me.
Good for you, because the English press is the toughest I've ever known.
Yeah, because the game's it's a big game, right?
Yeah.
It's a big business, huge business. People make money from these opinions. People make money from headlines. They make money from now, making memes. They make money from all this. So it's business. You got to have a personal head, and then you need to remove it when you see business. Like I say, there are 2 sides to me that have helped me do what I've done.
Very good insights. Brief period on loans, Torino. Yeah, what was it like to go to Italy?
I love going to Italy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did you try to go as further as you could from England?
I had 3 years left on my contract at Manchester City, like a big contract, a contract that I'd earned. Not many teams would have been able to pay the contract. I was 29, I was playing for England, so they couldn't just give me away. So there was a huge, they wanted a lot of money for people to buy me.
Okay.
So it just became very politically difficult. So any avenue that I went down, this happened in the start to the middle of August, I was available for people to take me. So everybody who's got the sort of goalkeeper in terms of my contract is already organised.
Yeah.
They've already got their number one. Anybody who could buy a goalkeeper for that amount of money already has done their business. And everybody kind of got organised by August. So it just didn't really work. And there were a few avenues that I went down and they just became difficult financially, or eventually it was like 25, 26 of August, with the transfer window being September 1st. They said to me, you can go here if you want to. I didn't ask any questions because I thought it didn't make any sense considering all the blocks that I had on previous clubs and conversations.
So where did you meet them in the motorway?
No, this was just a phone call. This was just a phone call, Mikel.
Okay.
I don't know how it worked. I ended up having a conversation with the late Sinisa Mihajlovic via Kolarov, Serbian colleagues, and they said it's real, and the people who matter have said it's okay. So do you want to come? And then I spoke with the England manager, and he said, if you're playing first team football, I'm going to use you. You're going to still be my number one. So I just said, why not? Let's go. Packed my bag, went to Italy.
Anything special over there?
Amazing.
Football wise,
Absolutely.
culture wise.
Love the club. Torino's a beautiful club. You know, people know Juventus.
Yeah.
They share the city. Huge history in Torino. Very passionate fan base. Beautiful city, not far from Milan. And it was just a really special time. You know, I had my son who was young at the time, and we just went there with the idea of let's just enjoy this opportunity that we've got. Football wasn't great. You know, the club was at the end of its training ground. The facilities were they were really bad actually, but they were just building a new training ground. So now the club's in a good place. No, I didn't care. I just wanted to be a part of something new culture, new language, new league. I knew that it wasn't going to define me as a goalkeeper or as a person, because it was a 1 year loan with no real chance of me signing permanently. And I just went and tried to enjoy it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good experience.
Yeah, really good experience.
Joe Hart abroad.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I didn't think I'd ever do it, so I was pleased.
We're going to transition to England.
Yep.
All right? 75 caps.
Yep.
43 clean sheets. Second highest for England. I want to tell you something. Before I came to England and played for Manchester United, clean sheets didn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter in France. I played in Italy, it doesn't matter. I played in Germany, it doesn't matter. The clean sheets are like secondary. What matters is winning the game.
Yeah.
In England, suddenly clean sheet, wow.
Yeah.
It's so important.
Yeah, we grew up with that culture, and I didn't know that was not necessarily a thing, but it's something that will be held, you know, be put against you as a goalkeeper. And you know, you talked about caps and clean sheets there. You know, there's many of those games. You know, I played San Marino probably 3 times. I didn't even touch the ball, but you get the credit of you don't get much credit as a goalkeeper, so it's nice to have some sort of measure. Yeah, career-wise, good numbers, but we didn't do anything. We didn't win anything, so I don't look at it.
There's one black mark in those statistics. You didn't score any goals.
No.
What happened?
I wanted to so badly. I had a few opportunities, but no, I'm not that guy.
No?
No, never.
Well, to be fair, you were playing for teams that always were in pole positions.
Yeah. I had one in the Europa League game, quarter-final against Sporting Lisbon. I had a header. The goalkeeper, Rui Patricio, made a really good save and just saw it bouncing, just went the wrong side of the post. That was my one moment.
It was the one moment. Tell me about your highs with England, the best moments.
Not many highs with England.
No, but you know, yesterday I had an interview and I said, okay, 2006, we lost in the final. But still, that journey with the lads, you know, we took over the team. What was going on within the group was us. The manager, we were like, okay, the manager.
Yeah, you just take
So
control.
we had a fantastic team spirit, and it was 4 fantastic weeks. Even me, because I only played one game, the third game at the group stage. As a substitute can be tough, but when I think about that moment, it was still a great moment in my careers with Les Bleus, you know. So I know you didn't win any trophies, but you must have some good moments.
No, amazing moments, like meeting the people that I met, the training, the levels of the training, going into the competitions. I went to 4 major competitions, played in 3 of them. All those moments, all those being an England player with the badge on my chest.
From Shrewsbury.
From Shrewsbury, representing my primary school, you know, my friends, my family, my senior school. As a boy from Shrewsbury, I could list for hours how amazing it was to be a part of this, being the number 1 goalkeeper in my country, all the things that come with that, all the press conferences, the responsibilities. But then the other side of me, the kind of cold business killer side of me, just saw so many times we put ourselves in a good position and failed, like ultimately failed when it came to the big moments. 2010, 2012, lost in a quarterfinal shootout. 2014, we didn't make it out of the group. We lost 2 tough games in, you know, a Brazilian World Cup. What an emotion to be a part of, and then done. Group stages, go home. Probably the worst moment as an England player was we lost to Iceland in France in a round of 16 game, you know, one you should never lose. And personally, I played a big role in that. I could have saved one of the goals. We lost 2-1. So that's a poor moment in my career. And then after that, qualified for the 2018 World Cup and then didn't get picked and then never played again. I still am happy and proud, but from a business point of view, I'm aware that with you know what a team we had. You know what kind of players we had. Like I should have some better stories like the one you've just talked about with you. I should have one of those, but I don't.
Yeah, I was lucky because we won 2 Confederation Cups.
Yep.
2001, 2003. Those were good moments. You know, it was big tournament at the not the highest level, but still they were good teams. And it was nice to lift a trophy with national team. So I was talking with Joe Hart the other day, and he said, I think we failed mainly because tactically we were not up to the level of the other national teams. Do you agree with that?
Tactically, we didn't.
The like you said, the talent was amazing.
Yeah.
Tactically,
I think all the games that I was involved in, nobody ever beat us comfortably.
Okay.
Whenever we did lose, it was by 1 goal, and it was just falling the wrong side of a tough game. But tactically, no, we weren't as advanced maybe as others, but I don't feel like other teams were tactically too impressive. They were maybe just more organized in the low block was.
That's tactic.
Yeah, I agree. I see that now.
Maybe more pragmatic.
Because
you relied on the individuals because you're such a good talent, but tactically maybe too open.
I think we never really had an identity as a team, which it's crazy because in 2010 or 12, if you asked me about identities of teams, it wasn't what was talked about. It wasn't the normal conversation. It was people kind of. Teams had them. You'd talk about, the Italians, for example, or, Spanish or...
Spain had it.
Yeah, Spanish they had, but they were almost seen as doing their own thing. Like even England to an extent now, they don't quite have one. Almost like the French teams, almost like Portugal. They're kind of relying on their star power to take them through, which is fine, and it will work. It actually does work in tournament football, which we've seen. Yeah, if I were to talk about the tactics of my teams and identity, I don't think England's ever really had one.
Who was your idol as a goalkeeper growing up? Who did you look up to?
So I loved Peter Schmeichel and David Seaman were my guys that I loved.
Right.
They were the guys that I watched.
So you were a United fan?
No, I wasn't. I definitely wasn't. I wasn't. Like I said, I just played. I just loved watching Pete Schmeichel, watching David Seaman, Shaka Hislop, loved him at Newcastle. These are the guys I just love watching them. I didn't want to be them.
But you picked up probably, I guess, the best.
Yeah, I think so. But I just appreciated them. I was just quite happy with them being, and I've been lucky enough to meet Peter and David.
Yeah.
Which are just huge moments, as a kid you get to meet. I'd like to think you've done the same thing. It's really special. Yeah, they were just people that I just loved. And they were so different. Pete Schmeichel was aggressive. He was vocal. He was really physical. And David Seaman was just the other end, like really very calm, very classy, just did his business, his shirt tucked in, very organized. And yeah, I loved them both for who they were.
The best striker in the England shirt?
Harry Kane.
Harry Kane?
Yeah. He's really is a level, like a high level operator. And I met him at the very start of his England career. How's Harry Kane getting in the England squad? Because of what I'd seen. Then I met Harry Kane and thought, he's good. And then 2 years later, I was like, he's one of the best. And 2 years later, he's still getting better. Like, this guy's unbelievable. Then I was working with him at Tottenham in 2020. And I was like, he's a world-class operator. He's high level.
And what's interesting about him, from my point of view, is he also went to different lower divisions.
And not all of them worked. In fact, most of them didn't work, right? Norwich, think Leighton Orient, Leicester.
They kept believing, kept trying.
That's one. If you look at him, you wouldn't know if he'd just scored a hat-trick for England or if he'd just been taken off for Norwich City. His self-belief and his kind of preservation of who he is and how he plays, it's not loud. He's not loud. He doesn't walk around with his chest out. But once you get to know him, you realize this guy is so confident. So confident. I've got nothing but good things to say about him.
Amazing player. We're nearly done. In introduction, we were talking about enjoying doing the media at the moment.
Yeah.
Any willingness or ideas about going into coaching or maybe managing?
No.
That's not you?
No, it's not me.
Definitely?
Definitely.
Right.
I've seen too many coaches or managers, and I've seen them always have to, at some point, put themselves first. And I get it. I understand it.
Not the goalkeeper coaches.
No, yeah, even them, Mikel, even them, they've got to manage their job. They've got to manage their security, their reputation. And if I was to get back into the game, it will be solely to help people. Maybe, you know, there's all sorts of ways now. You can mentor, you know, not directly with a club, to help groups of players, to help development. But I'm on the pitch. If you have to wear a badge for a team, that's not something that I'd feel comfortable doing, because I'd feel compromised.
Feel compromised.
I think I'd be compromised, because I'm not any more special than all these guys who I've seen who go in with the best intentions. I'm not saying they're doing anything wrong, but I just know at some point they have to put themselves before the player, and I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. Yeah,
fair enough.
I've always felt that.
So now media. Anything else?
A few things. So my world stopped
Not long ago.
Not long ago, and this world was like this. You can do this, you can't do this. You can do this, you can't do that. I need to see where I sit. I need to see where I fit in the world.
So you're gonna go skiing?
Yes,
riding.
I'm gonna go skiing, horse riding, bungee jumping. Yeah, and then I'm
drive
gonna,
motorbikes.
Exactly. I'm gonna come out to Qatar to see what it's like to work with this company. I want to work with this company. You know, I'm going to take opportunities to see all different things. I might, you know, it might not be football. My whole life's been football.
Yeah.
There's other conversations.
Fishing,
businesses, sport. I don't know. I really don't know. There's a few things that I do know, and I think it's important to keep working, keep focused. I'm leaving a lot of room for other things.
That's a foundation. And then obviously take care of the family, enjoy the kids while they grow up.
Exactly.
Take them to being the taxi, take them to
games.
Activity.
Yeah. Bite my finger while somebody says your son should do this. And
oh my God, yeah. I'm there too.
Yeah,
there too.
It's a different point of life, right? I need to learn how to be that guy, because I don't know who he is yet.
Done the right for yourself. I'm sure you'll find a way.
No, it should be interesting. I'm excited.
Fantastic. It was a pleasure to have this time with you, and that conversation was very insightful. Thank you very much for sharing all this.
More than welcome. Thanks for having me. Cheers, Mikel.
Thank you very much.